I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for coming, everybody. Required by Montana law, members of the community are given an opportunity to make brief comments to the board on any matters not included in the agenda. Individuals wishing to be heard shall first be recognized by the chairperson. Individuals, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make brief comments. The board would like to remind everyone that to avoid violations of individual rights and privacy, a member of the public wishing to address the board will not be allowed to make comments about any student, staff member, or member of the general public. No action may be taken on any matter discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting until such time as the matter is specifically noticed on an agenda and the public has been allowed the opportunity to comment. Do you have any comments on non-agenda items? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Consider girls basketball head coach hire with a possible executive session.
I move to hire Robert Nugent as the girls' head basketball coach for the 2024-2025 season.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. The board will first receive information regarding the motion in an executive session. After that, the public will be provided the opportunity to make public comments. The matter before the board is a personal matter, and in connection with this, the following was determined. Number one, the matter involves individual privacy. Number two, that such privacy demands protection of the individual and that little of anything would be gained by publicly disclosing the information to be discussed. Number three, that the demand for individual privacy clearly exceeds the merits of public disclosure in this matter. The board will now convene in a closed session at this time.
Do you want to
Explain.
Yeah, I just wanted to give everybody kind of an idea of what's going to happen. So we will go to executive session and this is going to remain private. Once that's completed, we're filled in, we come back out and accept public comment. That type of public comment is sort of positive. We cannot have any negative comments at that time. If someone wants to make that other type of comment, we will go back into executive session. So please bear with us tonight while we follow through all these procedures. The board is now reconvening in open session. At this time, the board will hear public comment. The board would like to remind everyone that to avoid violations of individual rights and privacy, a member of the public wishing to address the board will not be allowed to make comments that are derogatory in nature regarding an individual during the public board meeting. Individuals wishing to make public comments in support may do so during the public session of this board meeting. If there are individuals seeking to make public statements which may be derogatory in nature, you must state this intention when asked later in the meeting, and the meeting will be convened in closed session to allow you to make such comment to the trustees in a manner that protects the privacy of the individual about whom you are commenting. For those who wish to make public statements in support, when you come to the podium, please state your name. Each person will have 2 minutes to speak. I've never listened to this in the past, so I will flag you down in 2 minutes. Please understand we have a lot of people here. I go all night. So when I flag you down, that means it's time to wrap it up. We'll not have time to go off. We decided to modify this a little bit because I understand some people are concerned about speaking in public and whether it's negative or positive in terms of retribution. So at this time, what we'd like to do is give the public the opportunity to speak positively about the subject. Once that is finished, we're going to reconvene in closed session. If you'd like to make a negative statement or a positive statement in confidentiality, you have that option. I'll reiterate this when we go back into closed session. What will happen simply is we'll just have a line up outside the meeting door and try to switch in one at a time for your 2 minutes. Sound good? Are there members of the public who wish to make public statement? I'm sorry. Good.
Yeah.
Go on ahead and start speaking positively for 2 minutes. Who would like to go first? Macy, please step up.
evening, guys. You have an opportunity tonight to hire a girls' head basketball coach whose resume not only includes a winning record at the college level, but a national sportsmanship award, a Centennial Conference sportsmanship award, and also a Conference Coach of the Year award. Let me ask this board, when have you ever had a candidate in front of you whose record and actions have been more public and open? Coach Nugent has brought to the table discipline, toughness, high expectations, and heart. A personal vendetta has now been turned into a public spectacle. And while I realize some of you are doing what you can to mitigate the damage being caused, others within the district are not. We are fortunate to have so many smart individuals working for the district. But that also means that your staff knows exactly who is pulling what strings. Despite your best efforts to keep this a private matter, the visual that is being portrayed does not sit well with your staff, the students, or the majority of the parents. Most of you have read the letters my husband and I have sent in, so you already know that our position is firmly in support of Coach Nugent. He has given so very much to these girls. He supports them both on and off the court, both during the season and out of season. He cares for these kids, and he cares enough to hold them accountable. Let me reiterate that. He cares enough to hold them accountable. He does this with both passion for the game and passion for the potential that each player has. It seems that as parents that we are completely offended when someone else takes the time to hold our babies accountable. We look on it as a personal attack against our parenting abilities. This attitude fostered by us parents has created a generation of victims rather than strong-minded young men and women. I ask this board to decide here and now what kind of individuals you want to cultivate at our school district. If it is strong-minded young men and women, then you need to support a coach who dares to set expectations high and hold them accountable when expectations are not met. Lastly, I know you have your hands full with the current state of our football team, but your staff is watching how you respond to this particular situation. Future coaching prospects are watching, parents and players are watching, and we're setting a precedent for future complaints and in this case, vendettas. We are asking you to recognize the damage that is being done to this man, our athletes, and this community. If you will not rehire a man with a Coach of the Year award under his belt and multiple sportsmanship awards, what kind of coach are you looking for? We ask you to reaffirm your support, and we also want to thank Coach Nugent for sticking by this program despite what he has life has been through. Thank you. Thank you.
Could you have her say her name
Yeah.
and how, and her
Lacey Simon.
relationship?
Yeah,
And the relationship, is she a parent? Is
I'm a
she-
parent.
Okay, that, we
Thank
need to
you,
know
Lacey.
that, name and the relationship to the district.
Do you have any other comments? Come on up. Please state your name and your relationship.
I'm Abby Weber and I am on the varsity basketball team.
Okay, Abby, just remember you got 2 minutes and I'll give you the sign, okay? Go ahead.
I've been playing basketball since I could walk. It's been a big part of my family and who I am today. I have met some of my closest friends playing on basketball teams in Belgrade, as well as some of the people I look up to the most, like my coach, Mr. Nugent. Belgrade girls basketball has been struggling since I was a freshman and before. So last year, when we were given an opportunity to change our program, I was ecstatic. Coach Nugent went above my expectations for a coach. He taught me a new kind of basketball, and Belgrade girls basketball is finally a program I can say I'm proud to be a part of because of it. I will admit, Coach Nugent is a stubborn and determined individual, which can at times throw people the wrong way. He gets fired up and can come across as tough or over the top, but personally, I've never seen his passion this way. I've always seen it as he cares about the sport and about each of us as individuals, enough to get fired up about it. Not once has he made me feel afraid, timid, or even taken advantage of through his coaching. He has done a good job at adapting our play for our specific team, as we are considerably a physically short team compared to the rest of our AA division. He held us not only to higher standards than our past coaches have, but he expected greatness from each of us individually and as a team. He fosters an environment where we can push each other hard while also staying together as teammates and as friends. Not only is Nugent my coach, he was also my 8th grade history teacher. His lessons were loud, exciting, and passionate, just like his coaching. He became easily one of the most caring coaches and teachers I have ever had. Off the court and out of the classroom, he was there to support me, whether it be my middle school basketball games, my current soccer games, or my 8th grade graduation. Last season, he was consistently checking in on each of us players on the way home from our games, and always celebrated with us when we played good in summer tournaments. This is Coach Nugent's first time ever coaching a female high school team, and he's learning just like any coach does. He takes our feedback into consideration while always double checking that we're comfortable. I love my team, this program, this school, and the things we're going to accomplish this season with Nugent. I can't wait to see what the future holds for this program. Thank you.
You have another comment?
I'm keeping it short and sweet. It's Alex, I'm a parent, and listening to.
So we have your last name too, please, Alex.
Yep, it's Reichardt, Reichert. Just a few questions for the board. I believe it's the third coach that is under investigation. Is that correct?
You can't answer.
You can
You
answer.
can answer that, but
It's not the forum to do.
just a question to consider that. I believe the high school scores for the last 2 years, they were not outstanding. I don't even think we won more than 3 games. So something is wrong with the coaching. And I believe, don't quote me on it, of course, but the track record from Coach Nugent is not as outstanding as.
We need to
it
stop,
should.
Alex, because we can't have these types of comments in this.
I know, but those conversations, I think they are important.
That type of comment, if you want to continue this one, we can make this in confidential session.
Absolutely more than happy.
Okay, please
Good
have a
question.
seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Manny?
I'm Ryan Blossom, and I am here as a parent of a player. So we are here again tonight in support of Coach Nugent. I was able this summer to go on a tournament trip to South Dakota with some of the varsity players, and Coach Nugent was there. And it reaffirmed to me that he continually pushes these girls to be their best. He was respectful of them the entire time and engaged in open team conversations about how to help them become better as players, strive to meet their goals, and how he could help them accomplish those things. I was able to I actually had to sit on the bench because I went as an assistant to get into the tournament. So while I was sitting on the bench, as he coached, I could hear what he was saying to the players on the bench and in the huddles. And there were questions asked, mistakes pointed out, and accountability for each player's part in the game was brought up during that time. I have 2 daughters playing varsity, and last year they were freshmen and a junior. And the allegations against Coach Nugent feel disingenuous in the fact that the concerns were not brought to every parent. There was just certain parents that it was discussed with and brought to this where we are right now, which is investigations after investigation. We are truly thankful that Coach Nugent has stuck by these girls' side even after what he's been put through, and we look forward to an upcoming season with him. Thank you.
Thanks, Manny.
My name is Shannon Megan. I'm a parent of a previous player. My daughter Layla is graduated. She's going to Mount City. She played with Coach Nugent last year. He walked into a really tough situation. They had 3 years of no discipline and players running the team. So she was very excited when he stepped in. And the only reason I'm standing here today, I don't have any reason to care one way or the other from Nugent coaches. It's because I've talked to Layla about allegations brought up about Mr. Nugent, and she's heartbroken. She asked me to stand here today and let you guys know what she experienced. The last game of the year, for her ACL meniscus and lost her basketball scholarship. And she decided to go talk to the AD and coach and see if she could redshirt and possibly play again. She told me, Mom, I probably never would have done this if I wouldn't have learned the discipline and toughness that I learned from Coach Nugent. He was tough, he was consistent, he put out what he wanted right from the beginning, and he held everybody accountable. Senior game, Layla barely played, and she was a senior. But you know why she barely played? Because she was playing terrible. And as a parent, I could be mad. It was her senior game, why didn't she play? But I respected the fact that he had put forward his expectations and she wasn't meeting them. And she knew that, and she said that. Now as a young adult in college with the trials and tribulations and having to be accountable and mom's not there to protect you. I'm thankful for everything she went through this last year. I'm thankful for the lessons she learned. I'm thankful for the lines that they're in. I'm thankful for the discipline. And you know who still checks in on her? You know who still supports her? Coach Nugent.
Thank you. Amy?
I promised it would be 2 minutes. Amy Seaman, I have a daughter who graduated last year and a son in the district now. I would like to give my full support to Coach Nugent for the upcoming girls basketball season. Our daughter Ella played last year for Mr. Nugent and 3 years prior under previous coaching staff. I feel not renewing him as a coach would be a disservice to develop great girls basketball program. Observations from the last year. Mr. Nugent is more knowledgeable than any person in this room and has every credential to coach the game successfully. I feel like he is learning to coach girls. We are all learning to deal with girls. It's an ongoing deal from newborns to 19-year-olds. He could not be more different than the head coaching staff Ella had her 3 years prior, and that will take more than a year's worth of adjustment on both his part and the girls to make a season turn around. The team of returning girls last year wanted structure. They wanted to be coached and they wanted to be held accountable, so 1 to 2 girls didn't run the show. He did the hard things that coaches say they will do and rarely do. He didn't automatically pick a starting 5 and stick with it. He focused on building a program, bettering the whole team, which may have lessened the win column, but he built a culture and followed through with his promise to these players. Ella has been on a Belgrade team that won a state championship in softball and has been on a team that did not win a single game in last year's basketball season. In both of those seasons, there were more tears than you will ever imagine and frustrations, but both of those teams were coached the same. They were held to a higher standard, they were conditioned, tensions were high at times, voices were raised, and they learned how to handle the hard stuff better, how to correlate this with real life lessons. Ella went on to play college softball this year, and her coach repeatedly says every time we see her, she loves Belgrade girls as they can handle the hard stuff, they are used to being held accountable, and they are built different over here. This is something to be proud of, something Belgrade should be proud of, and something to think about and make you not second guess keeping Mr. Nugent.
Thank you. Do we have any more comments?
Nugent has supported my daughter through this year. She comes home excited about basketball and about this upcoming season more than she has ever in the past. She comes home and talks about how excited she is that she pushes them to have better skills and better team bonding on and off the court, along with having mental toughness in a sport that has been challenging. I know that my daughter Abigail will be more ready for life after high school because of Coach Nugent, and I have never been concerned about any aspects of his coaching on or off the court. Thank you.
Any more public comment? No.
My name is Anna Holland, and I'm a parent of a basketball player as well. One thing that I have loved witnessing about the program in general, and especially Coach Nugent, is his support for the girls. Not only does he push them to become better, which every coach should do, or else what is the purpose of them coaching the team at all? They should be striving to get better, to be their best, to make improvements, and sometimes that's refined by pressure. If we're not under pressure, we don't perform, we don't try to get better. My daughter had the ability to be coached by 2 different coaches. She was on the sophomore team and was able to play on the varsity team as well last year. So she had really great perspective of the whole program as a whole. She had great experiences with both, but really enjoyed playing on varsity with Coach Nugent. One thing that I really enjoyed watching from the sideline as a parent was the support that he gives to these kids, not only on the basketball team, but also the students at the middle school. I've seen him at countless volleyball games, track meets, choir concerts for my daughters, even my one in middle school, as well as many other kids. And I don't think that there's a coach on earth who would do that unless they truly cared about the kids that they were coaching. So just wanted to share that with you as well.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Joey Roberts, middle school teacher and head softball coach. I just want to come up here with a few concerns, keep positive, but this kind of feels like a similar situation that occurred 7 years ago. And I fear that if we continue to allow ignorance of the chain of command in order to dictate the fate of our coaches, we're doing our kids a huge disservice. Coaches are few and far between, especially the good ones who coach hard and care enough to show up for their kids' other activities like Coach Nugent has demonstrated. Getting coached hard is essentially an athlete learning how to handle and foster the skills needed to manage the emotions and actions that come from a future boss who expects their highest performance. This is their future. We are teaching them to be the next generation, the generation that will take care of us. And this matters a whole lot more than just basketball, the impact that Coach Nugent has had. And just, speaking from my program experience, I'm hard on my girls too. I yell at them, I demand a lot, some back can probably attest to that. But at the end of the day, I care a ton about my players and will always support them. And, a lot of great speakers have come up before already kind of reiterated that, but I just, Coach Nugent was at all of our softball games supporting his players out of season. There's a genuine active interest in their well-being and livelihood. And I really appreciate that as a fellow head coach that shares 6 to 8 athletes with him. That's a big deal to me, and I know it's a big deal to our players as well. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Roberts. Any more public comment?
Joel Barnett, middle school math teacher and head baseball coach for Belgrade High School. During my time with the Belgrade School District, I've observed Rob Nugent carry himself in class. He's someone that is respected by students and staff. He's passionate about coaching and teaching, and is a great asset to our community. It'd be a great disservice, not only for the girls' basketball team, but to our community not to renew his contract. Mr. Nugent is someone who is incredibly knowledgeable and passionate about coaching the game of basketball. He has every credential that our community could possibly look for in a coach. He's someone who has taken on a very difficult job and is pouring every ounce of his mind, body, and soul into that position. In my opinion, it is far easier to create a culture than to try to completely rebuild a culture. I think he's done a great job instilling in these girls confidence in their practice plans, confidence in the way that he coaches them. They know that they're going to get someone consistent, exactly who Rob Nugent is. When Mr. Nugent was first hired, he told the Belgrade News that I'm in this, and I've always been in this, even when I was a college coach, for people. I teach for people more than anything else. This is as true today as it ever was. This program needs Mr. Nugent. He is a great coach. He's a great teacher. He is a great member of this community. It is someone that you've seen the passion of multiple people get up here and speak about. There's a reason for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Yes, it's my turn.
Come on up, Valerie.
My biggest pet peeve fear, public speaking, but here I
I
am.
gotta say your name. and-
Sarah Fowler, educator, coach, former head coach, Belgrade graduate, 25 years of teaching in the district, the same school. Living in the same piece of property for 30 years. Can't say more.
You still only get 2 minutes.
The block here, and I was in the same position as Coach Nugent here, 20 years ago or so. So I feel his pain, but I wanted to make sure that you understand that not me, if I were playing for Coach Nugent, it wouldn't have been me, but I could see where some players could have a feeling of being maybe attacked by him, and I don't mean attacked in a bad way, but I mean, he is in your face, you're gonna do what I want you to do, and I want to make sure you're doing it the way that we need it done to be successful.
And I don't know that the kids had that before. I wasn't a part of that coaching, before, but what I saw watching games, it was much different. So as a player, I could see where kids could be like, whoa, a little scared at first of him being kind of right up front with, I need you to do it this way. But also, if we want our teams to get better, we kind of need that. You know, when I played here a long time ago, let's say 36 years ago, we won games. And it's a little discouraging to watch our program just get, and we can make the AA excuse all we want, but we have to come down to kids gotta improve and we've gotta have expectations. I just feel like Rob did a really good job of that, but I could see where kids might have been put off by his approach at times. I was very much similar to that. I just think we'd be doing a disservice if we got rid of him after only 1 year of trying to do the best he can. I'd like to maybe, do you want to talk to me later back there? I'd like to talk to you.
He does okay, public speaking.
I can't be positive and negative.
Okay, do we have any more public comments? Okay, so we've reached a point, I believe, where there's no more public comment, and I was wondering, can I have a show of hands of anybody who would like to make a comment that's going to be strictly confidential? Positive or negative? Yes, and that, I'm supposed to clarify that we cannot make the same statement. The matter before the board is now a personal matter in connection with this, the following is determined. This matter involves individual privacy. That such privacy demands protection of the individual, and little if anything would be gained by publicly disclosing the information to be discussed. And that the demand for individual privacy clearly exceeds the merits of public disclosure of this matter. The board will now reconvene into closed session at this time. So if you would, we'll head over to the next. Yes. We'll head over next door. We have time, 2 minutes to make comments, whether they be. The board is now reconvening an open session. We have a motion and a second, and we will now take a vote. All in favor of the motion to hire Robert Nugent as the girls' head basketball coach for the 2024-25 season, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
I did. They should not be clapping.
Meeting is adjourned.
I did vote.
You said